Rank in Rainbow Six Siege is the worst it's ever been, and today I'm going to show you why. In order to understand why Siege ranked is so bad, you have to understand one fundamental thing first. What is the purpose of a ranking system in the first place? Well, first of all, ranked in Siege or in any game is a display of skill. The rank that shows up on your profile is the best and most accurate way a game has to show anyone and yourself just how good you are. People love video games, and they love competition even more. Not only is the love for the grind what drives players most, but also there's nothing quite like that feeling of accomplishment, getting a rank you've been working so hard for. Every beautiful, fulfilling thing I just talked about in an ideal ranking system, Siege has none of it. But it wasn't always this way. On Siege's release, there were half as many ranks as there are today, 6 to be exact: Copper, Bronze, Silver, Gold, Plat, and Diamond. Now, as cool as it is to have 6 ranks in a game called Rainbow Six, only having 6 ranks in a game is a terrible idea. You see, in any video game, you need an even amount of players in every single rank for it to be fun for everyone. Too many bad people, and the people at the top have zero competition. Too many good people, and the game isn't newer player friendly. As you can see by this diagram, this is what a perfect player distribution should look like. A bell curve. However, this is what Siege rank system looked like back then. Some obvious issues to point out here being that there are way too many platinum players and not enough silver players. The reason for this being is because of the inevitable skill floor learning curve that comes with Siege. There's this huge skill floor that players have to climb on in order to even be average at the game. So, when being exceptional at something is just the baseline to be good, you're going to have people in naturally higher ranks. So, actually, this isn't a bad Siege rank distribution, it's just naturally what Siege will have looked like no matter how they balance their game in the first place. That is no longer the case, though. If you thought that last graph was bad, let's take a look at a graph from today's ranking system. Funnily enough, it almost looks like the exact opposite of a bell curve, which is what it should be. So, statistically speaking, rank in Rainbow Six Siege right now is broken. If we want to fix this though, we have to look at what a good ranking system looks like. The common theme with most games that have balanced ranking systems is obviously their rank distribution, like we talked about earlier. So how do we distribute players in the most accurate way into their ranks? One of the best solutions to this problem is actually just adding more ranks. Think about it. If you only have 2 ranks, it's much more likely that 2 players of completely different skills will end up in the same rank, purely because there wasn't a big enough gap between them that the worst player had to climb. But if there's close to 10 ranks, 12 ranks, not only will that bad player stay in the lower ranks and actually have to earn his spot at the top next to you, but it also separates the best players by just exactly how good they really are. It gives lower players an incentive to climb and learn, and good players an incentive to get even better and compete with their enemies. Ironically enough, Siege actually has a lot of ranks. Now we have 8 ranks in total, which is probably the perfect amount. Even now, Siege's ranking system is still in the gutter, so if the amount of ranks isn't the issue, then what is? A terrible MMR spread of a logistic curve instead of a bell curve, hidden MMR that completely takes away the entire point of achieving a rank, the blatant amount of cheaters and Ubisoft's lack of ability to do anything about them, the disproportionate amount of elo that you gain that makes you feel like losing isn't a threat or makes you feel like you're being hard stuck with absolutely no in between, the blatant boosting that happens because hidden MMR took away the gatekeeping of skillful lobbies, the seemingly terrible teammates while also feeling like you're going against SSG in their prime, the smurfing that makes trying to learn the game completely impossible, the amount of learning you have to do in the first place to even play the game in a default way, zimming on console and the lack of care for any console players at all, and the pro scene constantly changing the meta through balancing abuse. Just to name a few. But among these issues, there is one that stands out much more than the other issues, and that is Siege's cheater problem. The pure amount of cheaters in Rainbow Six Siege is actually the worst I have literally seen in any video game, literally ever. Keep in mind, I was around in CSGO, and I know how bad cheaters are there too. I was around in Titanfall 2 multiplayer, one of the worst cheating experiments of a game ever. I was around for TF2 as well. You name it, Siege right now is worse. To prove this, I asked my Twitter the percent chance they thought it was that they'd get a cheater in their ranked game on any given game today. And this was their response. The majority of people who voted said that there was over half the time there was at least one cheater in their game when they played. I also hold this opinion for the record. There's a plethora of reasons that this could be, but chief among them being that Siege is just an old game, and so is its anti-cheat. The older the game engine, the more time cheat developers have to come up with ways to cheat. The more they do that, the more common it is to have cheats. The more common it is to have cheats on the market, the less they sell for and the cheaper they are. The cheaper the cheats are, the more people can get them. It's a cycle that can't be undone and has a huge snowball effect. Another tragically cyclical Siege problem is that a lot of cheaters are just getting cheats in self-defense to these cheaters. Non-cheating players that are legit for years at a time face cheaters every single game now and never see them get banned, so they just install cheats because they think it's the only way to fight back, and they know nothing bad will happen to them anyways. Quick disclaimer, don't do that. Not only is cheating a huge issue in Siege, but so is something much more slight, much more hidden, this being hidden MMR. Hidden MMR implies that you have a rank that is displayed to everyone. For example, I hit champion earlier this season, but right now I'm Diamond 1. You watching this video might be around silver to gold on average, but what if I told you that wasn't true? What if I told you you were also champion? Well, with hidden MMR, you just might be. For all we know, everyone might be, and if X is everywhere, then X is meaningless. Let me explain. Everyone has a displayed rank, like mine and yours, but Ubisoft added a new feature saying that you might have earned gold, but really you have the skill of an emerald, so we're going to match you up with other emerald skilled players no matter what their displayed rank is. This is why sometimes you'll get a bronze 3 in a lobby with 3 champions and a plat. Your rank might be different, but Ubisoft thinks your skill are all the exact same. This might seem like a good idea to have more accurate skill matchups all the time, but all it is a slap in the face to the Siege community and everyone playing ranked in the game. If I'm a really, really good player that had to earn a high rank through countless hours, and my teammates are all coppers, then I'll start thinking, well, what's the point? Why play and try to achieve a high rank if I'm still going against the same people when I'm in champion that I was going against in silver? If the game thinks I'm copper but my rank is champion, am I really a champion player? Well, the unfortunate answer is no. Ubisoft is lying to you to keep you playing, and for the majority of players, it's just making them quit because there's no point to ranked anymore. Like I said earlier, in a perfect ranking system, your rank is a direct flexion of your skill, not your hidden MMR. Hidden MMR takes away all of the meaning of a rank. It takes away the competitiveness, the love for the grind, and the feeling of accomplishment. Rank 2.0 just ruins the entire point of a rank in the first place. So not only is ranked ruined by cheaters, but there's no point to play it even if it weren't ruined by cheaters, and it's just not fair. And there's 0 point. It's just terrible. Even if there was a point to playing the game because there were no cheaters and you didn't have hidden MMR, ranked still wouldn't be balanced. The reason for this being is not actually what you might think, because right now there's just one small more thing that is absolutely ruining ranked in Siege, and that is the elo disparity between how much elo you lose and how much elo you gain. Think of it like this. If you're in school and all you have to do is show up to class to get good grades, even failing all of your assignments or flat out not doing them would still get you an A, would you even try? Would you do the assignments? Of course not. But regardless, that's what Siege ranking system is doing. If your displayed MMR is lower than your hidden MMR, Siege will give you drastically more elo than they will take away so that you can get to the rank they think you deserve. It's essentially giving out participation trophies. For example, if my hidden MMR is diamond, but right now I started the season, I'm in copper, at the beginning of the season, I will gain 150 elo every single time I win. But if I lose, I'll only lose 9 elo. That means roughly that I can lose 16 games and completely make all of it up with 1 win. That is nothing short of absurd and completely takes away the fear of losing, or the enjoyment of winning, which are the 2 important ingredients to make the recipe of competition. Now imagine your hidden MMR is the highest rank in the game, a champion. This means you will always be gaining way more elo than you will be losing, because the entire time you're getting the highest rank, Siege is feeding you more elo than you will ever lose, no matter even if you get to the top. So for most high-level ranked players, rank doesn't even mean anything even at the top, because they didn't even have to try to get there. There was absolutely 0 stakes, 0 competition, and just 0 fun. For these 3 key reasons I've highlighted in this video, Siege ranked is absolutely ruined. Now, one thing I love to talk about when I talk about problems on this channel though is actual solutions. I think if Ubisoft wanted to fix their ranking system, Now, this isn't something that just I've noticed or that a handful of people in the community have noticed. Everyone thinks this way. I talked about this in the Twitter poll earlier, but even content creators, there's countless content creators on YouTube that have made videos just like this complaining. People on Twitter who have DM'd Ubisoft, even people who work at Ubisoft complaining about the issue. The unfortunate part is it doesn't matter because Ubisoft can't even do anything about it. They can't stop cheating because cheating is something that is sourced outside of the game. It's an empire that will always grow. It's evergreen. There are just too many people doing it for them to do anything, and even if they do update the game to counter the cheaters can just update their cheats to get around their update. And that can happen the day that Ubisoft updates their game. So they just can't do anything. They also can't just get a new anti-cheat because they're contracted with the current anti-cheat that they have right now, which might be in perpetuity, which means the cheating just isn't going to go away. Also, hidden MMR is an in-game system that people have to code into the game, which comes with its own contracts, its own bureaucratical issues, its own contractual issues, so these things are just going to take time to fix. The ELO disparity as well is a complicated issue because yes, people who are very, very high up in ELO never actually have to earn their rank, but people who have low ELO, people like coppers, bronzes, silvers, and even golds, they do have to earn their rank once they get to their hidden MMR rank, and it becomes much, much harder for them to rank up because sometimes they're losing more ELO than they're gaining. It's the complete opposite issue, which is why I said earlier, you're either just stomping people and getting ranked super, super easily, or you're just hard stuck. There's no in between. The rank system just never makes any sense, and it's terrible. Now, one thing I love to talk about when I talk about problems on this channel, though, is actual solutions. I think if Ubisoft wanted to fix their ranking system, or their game in general, they'd have to make some pretty big changes, but some doable changes nonetheless. 2 in specific. 1. They need to make Siege 2. Siege 2 is the only viable way to get rid of cheaters, because no matter how you update Siege 1, it will always be on an old game engine with an old anti-cheat that cheaters can easily get around. Siege 2, theoretically, would be made on a new game engine with its own dedicated anti-cheat, or at least one that's up to date, so cheating would actually be very rare. Now you might be thinking, why can't they just put a new game engine into the game, or update their old game engine? Well, it's kind of like changing an engine in a car. It costs the same amount to change an engine in a car as it would be to just get a new car, and it's way, way too complicated for the average person, so most people just end up getting a new car. And if Siege want to do the exact same thing, they're not going to just replace the engine in their game, they're just going to make a new game on a different engine. The same thing goes for their anti-cheat as well. Now, if they didn't want to do that, and they wanted to make a different change, or they could do both of these, doesn't matter, the second change Siege would have to make is that Siege would need to redo the entire ranking system again. Call it Ranked 3.0 or whatever you name it, I don't care, just as long as hidden MMR is in the trash where it belongs. Getting rid of hidden MMR would bring back the entire point of Ranked, a display of skill that's fulfilling, competitive, and keeps the game alive. And finally, make the ELO lost and ELO gained almost equal, with the ELO gain always being slightly higher than the ELO lost, never having the ELO lost be more than gained. If you did that and had people lose more than they gained, then players would start to play ranked out of fear that they'd lose instead of hope that they'd win. With these 3 solutions, I think Ubisoft actually has a great chance at making a fair but fun and competitive ranking system that will last for a lifetime and a game's generational lifetime. Because what we have right now is just the complete opposite of what it should be. It's unacceptable, to be completely honest. For me right now, ranked is more about hitting champ every season so that it looks good on our 6 tracker than it is actually about having fun and the competitiveness behind it. I and many other players that play the game out of fear that we won't get what we want, especially because we know just how easy getting these ranks are. That's why Siege competitive scene is so big, especially in the lower parts of it, because it's the only way that people can actually play the game competitively for fun anymore. That's why 10-man servers exist, because you can just play the game in custom games and have the same ranked experience without cheaters, without hidden MMR, and without ELO disparity. For other players, people play the game not because it's fulfilling, but because they want to feel the feeling of not being hard stuck anymore. No one is actually playing the game for good reasons. We're all sitting here just playing the game to escape the bad reasons, which is why there's a problem with ranked in Rainbow Six Siege. But with that out of the way, my name is Alka, check out this next video, and I hope we'll see you there. Later.